certain matters belong permanently within the vault. These are disclosures that, once made, irrevocably alter how another person perceives you. This shift does not occur because the revelations are immoral or shameful, but because they dismantle the very bedrock upon which attraction and respect are constructed. Today, I will outline the 5 confidences that, regardless of your intimacy with a woman or the depth of your trust, you must never disclose. This is not because women are deceitful, but because these admissions activate deep-seated psychological mechanisms that erode attraction and respect, frequently for good. Consider this your caution. The 5th point is the most perilous. It is a universal challenge for men, something that feels instinctive to confess, yet doing so is equivalent to setting off an explosive within your partnership. After this is revealed, the damage is irreversible. This philosophy is not about being misleading or untruthful. It is about comprehending the fundamentals of human nature and safeguarding the core elements that enable relationships to thrive. Let's explore what must remain locked away. 1. Your profound insecurities and self-doubt. The first confidence you must guard is the complete scope of your deepest insecurities and self-doubts. While emotional openness is a vital component of bonding, there is a critical distinction between sharing challenges that demonstrate a path to growth and unloading your entire inventory of fears and perceived shortcomings. I understood this distinction through my acquaintance, Jake, who was in a relationship with a wonderful woman named Lisa. They shared remarkable chemistry, engaging dialogue, and what appeared to be an unshakable bond. However, Jake erred by confessing every single one of his insecurities during what he believed was a moment of deep connection. He expressed his fear of being insufficiently accomplished, his anxiety over his looks, his worry that he was unworthy of her, and his concern that other men were more appealing and competent. He assumed this degree of transparency would deepen their bond and demonstrate his trust. The outcome was catastrophic. Lisa started to view him precisely as he viewed himself, insecure, inadequate, and indecisive. The self-assured, compelling man she had been drawn to was supplanted in her perception by an individual who could not recognize his own value. Their partnership concluded within weeks. This is the psychological reality. When you persistently voice profound insecurities to a romantic partner, you are effectively requesting that they shoulder the emotional weight of validating your self-worth. This converts them from an equal partner into a therapist, and attraction seldom endures that transition. 2. Your entire romantic and sexual past. The second secret to keep secured is the full, detailed account of your prior romantic and sexual encounters. While some conversation about past relationships is standard and constructive, providing excessive detail about former partners generates issues that can never be entirely remedied. I observed this error with my friend Marcus, who was convinced that total honesty required sharing every aspect of his history with his girlfriend, Sarah. In a late-night discussion about former lovers, he provided elaborate anecdotes about ex-girlfriends, their intimate behaviors, specific activities they shared, the reasons those relationships dissolved, and even drew comparisons between Sarah and his past partners. Marcus believed this candor would foster trust and closeness. Instead, it bred insecurity, envy, and mental pictures that Sarah could not erase. During their moments of intimacy, she would mentally measure herself against his exes. When he referenced a female friend, she speculated about a potential history. The specifics intended to unite them actually forged separation and suspicion. Here is the psychological truth. Excessive information about your past establishes a mental rivalry between your current partner and your previous ones. When an individual possesses detailed knowledge of your romantic history, they inevitably compare themselves to those experiences, typically in a manner that fosters insecurity rather than assurance. The suitable level of disclosure involves broad themes and acquired wisdom, not intimate specifics or evaluations. You might share that past relationships taught you the value of communication, but you need not divulge the private workings of those partnerships or their conclusions. 3. Your instances of vulnerability and breaking points. The third secret concerns those periods when you were at your absolute weakest, when you wept without restraint, suffered panic attacks, felt utterly vanquished, or were so overwhelmed by life that you experienced a total collapse. While these moments are inherently human, revealing their full intensity can permanently reshape how you are seen. I grasped this lesson by witnessing the transformation in my friend David's relationship after he confided his breaking point to his girlfriend, Emma. David had endured a phase of severe stress, with job loss, family issues, and financial strain converging simultaneously. Throughout this time, he He had what he termed a total emotional collapse that persisted for days. When his situation normalized, David chose to share this episode with Emma in depth. He described hours of weeping, feelings of absolute despair, and instances where he could not control his trembling from anxiety. He thought this sharing would help her comprehend his ordeal and strengthen their connection. Instead, Emma began to perceive him as brittle and unpredictable. The resilient, competent man she had admired was replaced in her mind by someone who could disintegrate when confronted with hardship. While she was compassionate and encouraging, her fundamental perception of his fortitude and dependability was permanently altered. This is the psychological reality. While everyone has breaking points and moments of frailty, disclosing their full magnitude can activate protective instincts in a partner that undermine romantic desire. When you are perceived as someone requiring safeguarding rather than someone capable of providing it, the fundamental dynamic of the relationship is transformed. 4. Your financial apprehensions and monetary anxieties. The fourth secret that should never be fully unveiled is the total depth of your financial fears, monetary worries, and economic insecurities. While fiscal openness is crucial in committed relationships, confessing every fear and anxiety about money generates stress and uncertainty that harms the relational dynamic. This lesson was impressed upon me through my friend Chris, who was seeing a woman named Jennifer. Chris was financially stable, but he harbored deep-seated anxieties about money, originating from an economically insecure childhood. He perpetually worried about unemployment, insufficient savings, and an inability to support a future family. During what he considered a pivotal discussion about their future, Chris disclosed all these fears to Jennifer. He told her about his anxiety when settling bills, his compulsive monitoring of his accounts, his fear that he wasn't financially secure enough for a long-term commitment, and his concern that she would abandon him if his earnings dropped. Jennifer began to regard Chris as financially unsound and emotionally volatile regarding money. Even though his actual financial status was sound, his fears became her own. Rather than comforting him, the conversation planted doubt in her mind about their collective financial future. She began to question whether he could truly offer the stability she sought. Here is the psychological truth. When you share profound financial anxieties with a romantic partner, you are assigning them emotional labor concerning money that is not their burden to bear. Financial fears are infectious, and revealing excessive detail about your monetary worries often creates the very instability you dread. 5. Your desperation for the relationship to succeed. The fifth and most hazardous secret, the one that ruins more relationships than any other, is disclosing the full measure of your desperation for the relationship to work, how terrified you are of losing her, and how vacant your existence would be in her absence. This is the confidence that feels most natural to share, as it appears to be the ultimate demonstration of love and dedication. However, revealing this degree of emotional dependency is a toxic element that produces the very result you aim to avoid. Here is the devastating psychological truth. When you confess how desperately you require a relationship to succeed, you metamorphose from a coveted prize into an emotional burden. Instead of being a man she is thrilled to select, you become a man who desperately needs her selection. That clinginess extinguishes attraction more rapidly than nearly anything else. Women desire partners who want them, but do not need them. They seek men who would be saddened to lose them, but not devastated by it. They want to feel selected by someone possessing the strength to walk away if the partnership does not mutually serve both individuals. So, there you have them, the 5 confidences that must never leave the vault, your profound insecurities and self-doubt, your entire romantic history, your moments of total collapse, your financial fears and anxieties, and your desperation for the relationship to work. If this discussion helped you discern the difference between constructive vulnerability and emotional oversharing, please subscribe and contribute your perspective in the comments. Have you ever disclosed too much, too early? What was the impact on your relationships? And remember, the most resilient relationships are formed between 2 whole individuals who elect to share their lives, not between 2 incomplete people who require each other to feel entire. Keep some things in the vault. Your relationships will be more robust because of it.